It's not always dynamic. I think that's more the eye of the beholder more than it is anything else. But if you're sitting here and saying that, how do you make this to where it's dynamic, to where it works everything? I think I'm doing my job okay, at least in your eyes.
Right.
But it's not always
unintentionally dynamic.
Yeah. It's like there are games where there's a system, like in Wise, or like in Unreal. A Medieval has that system. Proteus has that system. Nightmare Reaper has that system. And of course the Dark Ages, or not the Dark Ages, the Ancient Gods has it. But that system, it's an interesting thing to write that type of music for those specific games, because you never know what you're gonna get. The map will be done either like in blockout and they just have art, or you're just talking to a lead and they're going, this is the tone that I'm looking for, and it's just a amalgamation of hyperlinks to YouTube videos and some reference art, and then me just making something, and then me they're going,
Right.
or what the fuck is this, and it's a lot of trial and error. It's what starts off
Right.
as something where they go, this sounds great, by the end of the map could be like, that doesn't fit at all, but there's probably a home for it somewhere else. So it's a ton of trial and error, but it's more about running through the level and seeing the art more than anything else. Like even talking to a lead, that comes secondary, honestly. Like I could just run through a level and see the art and make something on my own, but like if there's some type of tone that's supposed to be set where like your character's supposed to be, in peril, or something, some shit going on that you should be aware of at this point, that's when the lead comes into play, because it's not directly affecting
Is
the
there
art. Jesper Kid's a big one. The old Hitman games.
That's a good one.
Yeah, he's a big one. Like the old Hitman games are just, I don't know how else to describe it other than like, it sounds like it's written for like a serial killer. Like it's it's real. Like, hey, if you made music in Limbo, this is what it would sound like. It's real, like gray, and like it. Well, yeah, there's some electronic like instruments in there. It still feels not pleasant, and I love that.
It's like eerie. Like I don't know if I want to say ethereal, but it's like it's very.
There's an atmosphere to it. Yeah. There's a big gray atmosphere in front of everything that you're hearing. Mm-hmm. He's really good at that. Mm-hmm. Of course, you've got the Bobby Prince and Lee Jackson are big ones. Of course, Mick was a big one for me, getting in to the industry at first with his Killer Instinct soundtrack. That really opened a couple.
That was a hell of a reinvention
in my head. When I was doing the Bombshell soundtrack, I was like, huh, that's interesting choices. Like that really like that's exactly where I would have taken anything I was working on. Like it was kind of weird on some of those, because I was like, that sounds like something that I would have made, like had I just sat in a room and done something like that. But the production was, off the charts.
Yeah.
That guy's super talented. As far as games, like Doom, Duke Nukem, Mortal Kombat, early Tony Hawk Pro Skater soundtracks, because like that's how I got into Motorhead as a kid. Like that was the first introduction to Motorhead.
R.I.P. Lemmy.
Yeah, I know, right?
I know.
It's so cool that they had Hunter at his funeral. That was awesome. Hexen, Heretic, the Elder Scrolls soundtracks, and believe it or not, like Minecraft. I really love the Minecraft soundtrack. Unreal Tournament, Quake.
Did you know that in Doom, was it Eternal?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was in Doom Eternal, that they take that quote. What's the name of the movie? I forget the name of the movie, but it's where they say Lemmy is God or whatever.
Yeah. It's in there.
Doom Eternal.
I was like, it's amazing.
If you wait long enough at the hologram, that was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Have you ever spoken with or met Mick Gordon?
I've spoken with him. I had a hour and a half long conversation on Skype in like 2013, 2014, where we just talked for a long time. He was originally going to work with me on IDKFA, but like I imagine, like, you know, with the schedules and stuff on 2016, like that's already a lot. And he was like, he's like, I'll write some guitar riffs and stuff like that. And it just, we lost touch after that, and it never materialized. But I mean, like, that's fine. We got the 2016 soundtrack out of that. Like, that's totally cool.
It's possibly his most famous one. I would say culturally anyway. In my opinion, Doom Eternal is his best one, but I think Doom is the one that's kind of etched in people's minds because it hits
it's very
like,
against
like
the grain. Yeah, it's very against the grain. That's what I enjoy about it.
He hasn't really done much when it comes to game soundtracks as of late. I mean, other than I think he worked on Atomic Heart.
Atomic Heart,
he did one song for them.
I think he's working on. I think he's working with some X-id guys right now on a shooter that's like kind of like what were we talking about before we started? It feels like from the trailer stuff, it feels like a Dread game. Yeah. So I'm actually looking forward to that one.
Is it that game Routine? Is that the one?
I think so. I can't remember the name, to be honest, off the top of my head. Which I feel like
that sounds right.
Emmanuel's the studio lead there. I've met him. That's another case of best friend. Forgot the name of your game that you're making.
Refound.
Nice to see you.
Right.
I think when
I think that is right. Yeah.
When you were and David were announced for the Ancient Gods Part 1 and 2, and Mick was not returning. We don't obviously want to go into his personal business with issues that he had with Bethesda at the time. I think a lot of people were wondering if kind of he would reach out to you or something and kind of give you his blessing or something like that. So I'm perfectly happy to cut asking this question out of the podcast. But
no, it's fine.
Did he reach out to you in any way, or was he restricted to by NDAs or something like that?
No, I don't think there's any restriction or anything like that. No, he never reached out. He did make a cheeky tweet though, like whenever it was me that was announced. But I think like after like 24 hours, like I think he deleted it. But it was I was kind of like, oh, like they were like, it was something like somebody tagged. I can't remember if somebody tagged that me and David were working on it, and like he talked to me and known me from past instances, and he saw that and he said, what, somebody said something like, what are your thoughts on Andrew or something like that, and I think he posted, it was either the Cyber Demon or it was the Doom guy with, you know, like the meme ass cheeks. He says, we are butt men.
There's a Kino Fabino one.
Yeah. He said, we are, you know, like the whole you are but one man. He said, we are butt men. And I was like, yeah, I'll take that. Like, I love the shit posting. That's fine.
Yeah.
Keep some humor with it. But no, like I actually haven't talked to him since. Like, he hasn't reached out or anything like that. There's no need to. I mean, like, there's no pressure or anything like that.
I'm not trying in any way to kind of put out some sort of narrative, you know, that he ignored you or he was bitter so he didn't reach out, because Mick doesn't in any way, and I'm not trying to belittle the public perception of certain people at Bethesda as well that may have erred on the side of Mick. I just wanted to kind of know in black and white.
He never reached out. There was never anything that's like, you know, like some behind the scenes thing where don't talk, you know, there's nothing like that. It was just, hey, like, you're a professional, everybody else is a professional, let's just be professionals about everything. And like, I
would love him to come back, whatever relationship they have. If it ever rebooted Quake, I would love to see him come back, because he did Wolfenstein, then he did Doom. I would love him to come back and do Quake. I know that like Quake Champions is something that you've done, so I don't want to step on your feet and say, oh yeah, choose Mick instead, you know. But it just feels like it would be
personal preferences. Like, what art you like is what art you like. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, why? You know, like it's Megadeth versus Metallica. Who gives a shit? Like, what you like is what you like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lesser known thing that Mick worked on actually was Prey. Like he actually did.
Yeah, he did.
He was
He did
one
some
of like
sound design
4
and some of
people
the
who
soundtrack.
composed for that game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
And it was the stuff he did for that game is so different than what he did in anything else. Like it's a lot more like atmospheric type stuff, and it's still very good. But it was like when I found out that a lot of those tracks were him, I was like, what? And I even listened to the specific tracks, and I'm like, I would never guess.
I wish they would have followed that game up. I thought that was a cool game.
Very good.
I like the original. I like that one too. You know, like
Yeah.
Or maybe part of me is like, this should have been called something else, but that's not my call, you know.
Oh, it definitely should have. Yeah.
His Killer Instinct.
Many people have been on record about that.
Yeah.
His Killer Instinct track. I believe the track is called "The Instinct." I love the middle part of it where it goes into a more ethereal sort of, because it's not in the original composition for it. And I will listen to that into the car, like I'm driving down the motorway at 11 p.m. or something, and I'll listen to that and Serious Sam. I will listen to your scores as well, and Cultic I listen to a lot of. With you, it's usually a medieval, because then I know that there's like the full 2 hour of it on YouTube, and you can just tell Google to play it and then
Just
leave
play,
it on for 2 hours.
just go. Yeah.
Dusk is a little different because I do have to kind of fiddle with it. I do have my preferences to which track you've done on that, and so I kind of go between some of them on there. But how do you feel about your music being on a platform like YouTube, where it's kind of so easily accessible and perhaps not as financially lucrative as other avenues you could take as a composer? Are you cool with your music being out there like that?
Yeah. I mean, if it's out there, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, people who use the things like Spotify and use things like Bandcamp, I absolutely appreciate it to the moon. But also, a guy that works at New Blood, Hikita, said one time something that really struck a nerve with me, which was like, I'm gonna butcher this quote. It was, art shouldn't be locked behind a paywall. Like it was something to that derivative. He put it way more like it sounds like a philosopher the way he said it. I can't remember what he said exactly, but I was like, yeah, that that is true. Like people who want to be able to see art should be able to see art. You or listen to it or experience it. I don't feel like it should be always locked behind a ticket thing. Yeah, the ticket thing should be there for people who want to contribute and people who want to listen to it on their favorite platform. Absolutely. And like,
I actually wish more music was on Bandcamp, because I buy soundtracks and I buy individual songs sometimes so that I can use them for videos or just listen to them in general. Because usually if I put it in a video, it's something that I really like.
They also give you the option of like doing the whole wave and FLAC thing on there, which I think is great. I really wish that platform would get some kind of juice behind it, because I feel like it could be a very big direct competitor.